Hello everybody, this is Duster and I'm here for another video. I'm actually here to watch the Whitney Houston movie, I Wanna Dance with Somebody? I can't remember the title, but I know it's a Whitney Houston movie. I decided to do another movie review, but instead of Marvel this time, it's something a lot more serious. I've always liked Whitney Houston. She kind of reminds me of this aunt that unfortunately, my uncle divorced years ago, but I don't know. I mean, I remember hearing her songs, um, I Will Always Love You, which is still one of my favorite ones, of course. And then, I Want to Dance with Somebody and How Will I Know, and a lot of other great songs, too. I'm even wearing a Whitney Houston shirt right now. And I just really wanted to watch this movie just to see how it is and how her life is. I know her life's been really tragic. Not just her life, but, you know, um, her daughter as well. I was gonna bring my Funko Pop, but it's just I have so much stuff in my bag. But I mean, if you want, I could show you the Funko Pop. I mean, I had to get the Diamond Eyes Target exclusive because it's Whitney Houston. I mean, she's awesome. She's still awesome. I know she's not here anymore, but I just wanted to watch this movie and see how it is, and I'll do my best to try to review and detail as much. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then tune out of this video. But it's not really a spoiler. It's just mostly about her life. So I hope you guys like the video, and I hope you guys respect whatever happened to her, because I know she did some bad things in her past, but she's still a really great singer. Just really tragic how she died. But let's go inside and see how the movie is. I think Santa forgot his sleigh. Not kidding. It looks really nice, this display. This is the day after Christmas. Yeah, I came on such short notice. I was kind of running a little late, which is why I didn't bring the Funko Pop that I had wanted to. It's too bad the hot cocoa station wasn't open. I could have had some instead of like Nesquik. Hey guys, look who I spotted. It's Kang the Conqueror. Oh, I can't wait to see this movie. I can't believe it's coming out Cinco de Mayo. Okay, so I just got done watching the movie, and it wasn't that bad. It was kind of fast paced though. Other than the fact that it was like really fast paced, like there were times where I'm just like, oh, they could have like taken the scenes a little slower. But it was like fast, like really fast. I'm not sure why it was really fast. Really put Whitney with like showing a lot of scenes with her doing drugs. I thought they would show a lot of those scenes, but I guess maybe they just didn't want to for personal reasons, which I understand. Yeah, I didn't know that she started out like with her mom, Sissy Houston, in like some kind of trio or something in a club, and that's where she met Clive Davis, and that's how she managed to get like her singing career. And along the way, she had a really close friend named Robin, who they ended up turning into like a relationship. But the problem with that is that Whitney was raised as a Catholic, like a church girl, and her mom didn't really like that. Where was I? Oh yeah, it was about the club scene. So she meets this girl named Robin, and they quickly form a really close relationship. And her mom didn't like the relationship because Robin was kind of like closeted at the time. She had like short hair, and her clothes were kind of baggy. And but eventually, Whitney ended up living with her for a while, and they became really close. But once Whitney started taking off, she couldn't be in a relationship with Robin because, at the time, probably like before the 2000s, anything before the 2000s is considered like a sin or something. But I mean, I kind of understand why it was like that before the 2000s, because everything was just like not allowed. Like you can't be in a same-sex relationship in the 80s, 70s, 90s, or else people would think you're crazy. But I'm really glad that things have changed now. Like, it's a little bit more easy to just come out and be yourself. And So she started with Clive Davis, and I thought maybe we would see Whitney like shaved her hair because I know in I think in her first album, her hair she didn't have any hair on that album. Like she was like bald. I'm not sure why. And what happened? And her dad was pretty much managing everything. Like it just went really fast. Like it just went one thing and then one thing, and it didn't really explain like in full detail. I think the only thing that comes to mind was when she first meets Bobby Brown, the singer from that '80s pop group. I forgot what they're called. It's not New Kids on the Block. It's New Edition. Yeah, I think it was New Edition. Something with New Edition, and that's when they started meeting, and Bobby Brown, in my opinion, he's not a bad person. I don't think he's a bad person, but when you hear stories about him at Whitney, you're like, God, man, this Bobby Brown was not a good guy. Like, I think she was better off with Robin. But, yeah, Bobby Brown just had a lot of problems, too. Like, a lot of '80s singers, they turn to drugs and do bad things. And, unfortunately, it causes them to turn into kind of like, oh, I'm better than you kind of attitude. And, he asked Whitney to marry him, but the problem was that Bobby got a girl pregnant, which is kind of messed up though. I mean, why would you get in a relationship with someone who recently just knocked up someone? Like, that just does not make any sense. But it was the '80s, I guess. I mean, it was a pretty wild time, I would assume. I think any era is wild before the 2000s. They also go like right straight in the direction where Whitney lost her baby with Bobby Brown, the first one. But didn't it was just like really quick, like a quick scene, which I didn't really like it. I was kind of hoping they would show a scene where Whitney found out she was pregnant. She's like, "Yes, I'm pregnant. I'm finally having kids." But they just went straight into that, and I was like, "Oh, come on." Kind of a missed opportunity there. Because, I remember hearing biographies and stories about Whitney that she really wanted to have kids really badly. And I felt like this was kind of a good way to do it, but I guess maybe they just wanted it fast. And, like she did end up getting pregnant. She gave birth to like a girl named Bobby Christina Brown, which I'll get back into. But once Whitney gave birth, things just did not turn out good. She started turning into drugs. Bobby started cheating on her. Started coming home late, and that's when things just did not go in control for Whitney. And she just turns away everyone. And her father, I think his name is John. That's what it said on the movie. I remember during his that scene, the funeral scene of John, when he passed away, and after the hospital scene, he took all of Whitney's money away, which it unfortunately happens to a lot of family members. And yeah, John took a lot of her money, which I'm kind of like really surprised about that. I thought her father was a good guy, I guess, but I guess he was just, like most parents, like really just the moment your kids in the showbiz, they're like, oh, I want to get money, I want to get money. And it's pretty sad, because in the beginning of the movie, Whitney's dad, John, and her mom, Sissy, they're like arguing, like, blah, 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 blah. And you could tell that Whitney probably has a lot of relationship problems because of, what happened to her parents, and the fact that she has to see that with her brothers. Like, there was a room where she went with her brothers and they were smoking, like, they were, smoking, doing drugs. And it's like, oh, it's no wonder why she ended up being with Bobby. I think maybe she just wanted protection or something, which is pretty sad, And she had a lot of great hits too. Like, they talked about it for a bit, and then they showed like some songs. I heard that they had to actually use Whitney Houston's recording voice in order to put in the movies for the actress that played Whitney. I'm not sure what her name was, but I know for a fact that I think she was in that Star Wars franchise. I'm not sure which one though. I think it was the last one that they just released, or the Andor show. I don't know. But I thought she kind of looked like Whitney. Maybe not too much. But I think she did as much of a good job as she could. Um, the part where Bobby and her, they were like arguing, I was expecting him to like hit her, because I heard some things that Bobby was abusive towards Whitney, but they didn't do that. They didn't really show as much. I guess maybe they just like agreed to do certain things. And yeah, and the fact that their daughter saw it all too, kind of the same thing like Whitney saw in the beginning of the movie. Whitney sees and hears her parents arguing, and that's what's going on with her daughter. She's seeing her Whitney and her dad Bobby arguing, and it's pretty sad. Like, no child should have to see their parents argue, no matter which generation you are. Like, it's a really sad thing. It also involves a lot of destructive and dysfunctional personalities along the way, unfortunately. And Whitney, I think she ended up canceling one of her performances later on in the 90s. Whitney ended up trying to confront her dad after she found out her dad's been taking all her money in the hospital. But her dad didn't like that, and he said that she owes him like 10 million, and she just pretty much like tells him to get to that her brother is managing it now. And so she leaves, and then like they show a scene where he had unfortunately died. And shortly after, she's trying to resolve her problems, but she wasn't able to do it. Then her partner Clive Davis, who's been there for her for ever since the beginning of her music career, he tells her that she needs to go to rehab. And I think he admits to her that he's gay, because when this guy that was with Bobby Christina outside, they were playing, and Whitney was telling him, "Oh, he's a cute guy," and then he's like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "Wait," and then he said, "Oh, I'm an open book," I was like, "Oh, so I didn't know Clive Davis is gay," which, I mean, no problem with that. But so Whitney finally ends up going to rehab after her father had died, because her father took a lot of money from her. I remember there was a scene where he just gave like credit cards to like all the women. Of course, that's just how men are. A lot of men are, not all men. And her mom comes over. She sees Whitney in the corner, and Whitney's like all drugged out. And Whitney ends up going to rehab, and yeah, it's a pretty sad time for her. And during that time, like she does a tour and stuff, and I think when she goes to rehab, she ends up finally cleaning her act. And she tries to have like a how do you say it, like a, I don't want to say encore, like resurgence. Yeah, resurgence, when she was on Oprah. And when she started doing concerts, that's when everyone just started walking out, and they were like, "Oh, what happened to her voice? She used to be so good." And yeah, and unfortunately, I think that's when Whitney started to use again, because on the final night in 2012, like before the Grammys, she was in a hotel, and people were like, minding their business. And well, in the movie, like there were some fans like wanting to get some autographs, and there was this guy. I remember I saw him a couple scenes ago where he asked her for an autograph, and he was looking at it, and then like we see the same guy again, and then all of a sudden like he throws out his autograph, and there's like a dollar bill. I'm like, what the heck? And then there's this other guy with glasses where like he's talking to Whitney, the bartender, like about a performance she did in the AMAs, and how good she was. He was like the celloist or something, violinist. I don't know. It's one of those instruments. And he said she was really great, and that she's one of the greatest voices of all time, which is true, by the way. And she was really flattered by it, and she leaves him a $100 tip, even though he said it's on him. And when she leaves, she goes to the bathroom. She has her bathrobe, and unfortunately, this is where I think I know where you guys. I think you guys know where I'm going to. This is where the scene where supposedly she overdosed and dies in the bathtub, but they don't show the bathtub scene. They just show her like with a bathrobe and singing, and we get memories of her like when she first started out, and her life with her family, and her daughter, and yeah. And then they go to that performance. I think in the AMAs. I just realized it when I saw the camera pointing at that one guy, and then I'm like, oh, I think that's the bartender, the memory that he was talking about before Whitney passed. And she sings her songs, and she had a really nice dress, and that's pretty much it. And then towards the end, once the movie finishes, the performance finishes, we then see that Whitney Houston unfortunately passed away in February 2012 from an accidental overdose. And to this day, she's still one of the best-selling artists as of now, like Mariah Carey and the Beatles. And a lot of people refer to her as the voice, which she was. Like the whole time when I was sitting there, like as she was singing, it felt like I was actually in some kind of concert. Like Whitney really gave you a show whenever she sang, and she really sang all her heart out, which is crazy, which is kind of crazy but kind of insane, because not a lot of women could do that. I mean, there are some women that could do that, but it's kind of hard nowadays to do something like that, like make your voice really loud, which I don't think I could do. Maybe I can, I don't know. But it was a nice movie. I really liked that in the end credits they put like a montage. Like once the credits are rolling, you see like pictures of her before she had passed, and it was really nice of them to do that. And I stayed for the whole thing, and until then they started to stop showing it out. I kind of left because I really needed to go to the bathroom really bad. And yeah, that's how the movie ended. But in my opinion, I thought the movie was okay. It just felt like it was just get up and go. Like it was just too fast. Like the beginning it was okay, and then the part where she meets Bobby Brown. Yeah, that was kind of more like detailed, but everything else it just went really fast. Like I was kind of hoping they would take it a little bit slow, but I guess they did not want to. In a way, I'm kind of glad they didn't show like after Whitney's death, they didn't show like Bobby Christina, her daughter, like how she had passed away too. Like I think 2 years after Whitney died. It's really sad. But my score for this movie, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Maybe I would watch it again. But I really like Whitney Houston. I thought she's a really great singer. Like I really love that song. I will always love you. Like I remember when my TV at the time we had those. Remember how we had those box TVs like were shaped like boxes, and then they started transferring to the flat screens. Well, around that time I had a box TV, and I was watching TV. I was watching VH1, and they were doing like a hundred greatest songs of the '90s countdown, and Whitney Houston's song "I Will Always Love You" appeared, and I think like my dad managed to get the box TV fixed for a while, but then it kind of broke down again because those box TVs, I don't think they work anymore. So as my dad was trying to fix it, he managed to fix it, and I remember he turned on the TV, the song "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston came on, and then my dad decided like, usually me and my dad we do this thing where we usually like, I think he's usually helping me how to dance, but I always mess up all the time. And I remember Whitney Houston's song was playing, and my dad was like trying to do that little dance routine we do every single time, and of course I didn't do such a good job. That was still one of my memories I have of him, and also along with Whitney. So that was a really good memory to add, to have Whitney Houston like one of her songs playing on there. And I also remember that one time, I think it was like a couple weeks after she passed away. Me and my mom, we went to the laundry. She likes to laundry early in the morning, like at 6 or 5 a.m. across the street. And I was helping her out, and as we were sitting in the bench waiting for the clothes to dry, There was a Spanish show, and in the end credits, like they showed the song, they played the song "I Will Always Love You," but I think in Spanish or something. I don't know. And yeah, it was really nice that Whitney Houston's memory still lives on, even to this day. Like it's still made like into a meme, like oh, like some kind of meme or something. But yeah, I'll never forget that day when she passed away. It was really sad. It was like right before the Grammys were starting, and I was really sad about it. I was like, oh no, she looked like she was heading somewhere. I feel bad for her. I think maybe all the drugs that she did in the years and all the things that happened with her and Bobby Brown might have finally caught up to her, and it was just too much for her. And um, yeah, I remember, who was it? I think it was Jennifer Hudson or Alicia Keys. They sang the song "I Will Always Love You" in the Grammys. It was a really sad time. Like I'll never forget when they televised her funeral, and I think Ray J, like he touched her casket, because I heard that allegedly they had a relationship before she had passed. And I don't know. If you don't know who Ray J is, he was the guy that kind of got Kim Kardashian famous for that tape thing, which I'm not gonna get into. But it was really sad. I also remember how Bobby Brown took it. He kind of took it really awful. I think he tried to go in the funeral, but they kicked him out or something, which is really sad. Like I don't know. I just think that Bobby Brown, I don't know what he was going through at that time, but he must have been in a really, really, really dark place in the 80s to have gone to where he was, like doing drugs and just, being a toxic guy, and, just not being a good influence for his family, which is kind of sad. Like, you see all these 80s stars and all these other stars, mostly the stars from the 2000s, and they're just like wrecking balls, like they're wrecking everyone around them, mostly themselves. And it's just like, well, what do we do? I mean, we should do something about it. And I really wish Whitney would have gotten more help and support. I think maybe that Catholic religion that she was in, I think maybe it was a strict one, which is probably what led to her to end up the way she did. Which, I mean, I always thought that maybe you should treat your kids really nice and try to understand them, but the way she had it, it was kind of difficult, like her parents bickering each other, her dad stealing her money, her mom being really hard on her, very critique on her. What it looked like in the movie. And then, Bobby coming in and kind of ruining everything. And yeah, that's not a really good life right there. I think any celebrity who lives like that really should at least try to get some help. Like it's not too late to get help, but I really do feel bad for Whitney. I feel like she deserved better, and I think the way the media and the paparazzi, the way they really went at her, it was really sad. Like I remember seeing her like all looking like she did drugs, and it's just on the pictures on the computer or something. It's just really sad. Like you just want to be like, well, what can I do to help this person? Like I just really want them to get better. That's what I want. I'm tired of them doing this to themselves. It's not fair. But there's just so much you could do. And I remember she passed away. There was this. I read an article that after she had passed away, like this coach, this I don't know who it was. I think it was like a baseball coach for a school. He saw the newspaper or something. And he was like, "Oh, they're still talking about this, offensive racist word." He said to, and I was like, "Wow, really, man?" Like, dude, she was like the voice, man. She's like a really big deal. Like, to this day, people consider her performance at the Super Bowl one of the greatest performances of all time. And yeah, it's just really sad that she had to live up to those high expectations, because, not only is she a woman of color, but she's also like a woman that's sold a lot of music, a lot of hits. And yeah, it's definitely incredible what she accomplished on this earth, and really sad that she had died. I also felt bad that when her daughter died too. Like I remember her daughter, like she overdosed. Pretty much the same thing as Whitney. Overdosed, found in the bathtub. But her daughter was in a coma. But unfortunately, she was already brain dead. So there was really not much she could do, which is really sad. I was kind of hoping, Whitney's daughter would like carry on the legacy of Whitney and try to be better for herself and what her mom could have wanted for her, and maybe what her mom like could have done too. Like it's just really sad, like really tragic. I guess maybe Whitney needed someone with her in heaven. But the whole Robin thing that happened in the end of the movie, I mean, during the whole entire movie, I'm not sure if it's legit. I mean, it's too bad Whitney's not alive to confirm that Robin was her girlfriend, but it kind of looks like she really was. I mean, I don't hate her for that. I just wish that, Whitney Houston were to tell us, oh, yeah, I was in a relationship with a woman, but I couldn't because my family was really religious, so I had to put aside those feelings that I had for Robin and then move forward. But I don't know. Overall, I thought it was a good movie. I do miss Whitney Houston. I still do to this day. I mean, it's really shocking that she had died so soon. And it just goes to show you guys, don't do drugs. Don't take out all your frustrations on yourself. Try to get help. I know it's a lot of work getting help, but it'll be worth it at the end. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch, I guess, if you're a big Whitney Houston fan. But thank you guys for watching my movie review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Comment, like, subscribe, and see you later. Bye, guys. Yeah, so here's the Whitney Houston Funko Pop that I was telling you guys. It's actually Diamond Edition. It was sold at Target a couple months ago. I actually ordered this, and it took like months, but it's definitely worth it if you're a Whitney Houston fan or you just want something. I really like her in this outfit, although in the movie they said that she looked ridiculous. I don't know why. It's kind of messed up though, but I think she looks really pretty. I definitely like the diamond version because she's definitely a star in her own right. Wow, I was just talking about Whitney and I'm at Target right now and I just see this magazine. But yeah, rest in peace, Whitney Houston. Gone but never forgotten.